Hey guys, what's going on? Third Shit Reactions here. We're back with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I'm Shane.
Zakk.
I exerted a lot of breathing into that. I ran out towards the end there. We're back here with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I already said that. And last time we finished with Return to Geonosis arc, and that was a 4-part arc, and it was pretty cool. We had a little bit of zombie action. We had a little bit of just action in general. You know, a lot of war movies come to mind. We talked about that.
Yes.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm wondering where the story's going to carry now. Beyond that,
They cover kaijus. I mean, we cover zombies.
we covered Godzilla. We covered zombies. We covered the war front. So
There's always
fine with some traditional old Star Wars, Sans, Jar Jar Binks.
That's pretty much what you'll get. I think you'll get exactly that.
Okay, Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you will in the future.
Exactly what I said.
Well, yeah, you'll get some good old Star Wars Sans Jar Jar Binks. That's what's coming up.
Well, I'm very glad.
We're gonna jump into that now.
Yeah, we're just talking about that.
Yeah, right.
Status report.
There's too many of them!
Get yourselves to the escape pods. I will deal with Grievous here.
Jedi!
Grievous.
Isn't it? I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Then they jump in. Yeah, right.
Dirty shit. The fight was cool.
Well, we saw from Grievous's episode, like, you know, how he, over time, his enhancements, but he never had the Force.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen to me, Jedi. I do not care about your politics. I do not care about your republic. I only live to see you die.
Now the younglings in there.
Yeah, so why are the kids in there?
I will make him suffer endlessly, because I know that is more painful for you all.
I'm ready to start coughing at the end of it.
I admit my skills are rusty, but... Saleucami System 0529.
Saleucami, but intelligence reported Grievous has no ships near that sector.
I shall go.
So will I.
And I.
You remember the very first time Anakin meets Grievous?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're shorter than I expected. Try not to anger him again.
Your compassionate friends have come to rescue you, just as I knew they would.
You see some Zabrix that look like him? You realize how cool Darth Maul looks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
Palpatine says, I don't want any other one.
Well, you'll get to see a little bit about it. That's explored in this. It's very cool.
I want to board that vessel. I shall kill Kenobi face to face.
How close are you going to jump in next to Grievous's ship?
Pretty close. Buckle up, boys.
Define pretty close.
Give me a tractor beam lock on Kenobi's ship and prepare a boarding party.
Boarding parties are a hell of a thing.
I'd imagine so.
Remember Vader says to prepare a boarding party in Rogue One?
Yeah.
We need a diversion for Anakin.
The movie's a very good movie.
Oh, it's great.
I hate that Mads is not very featured in it. But
Yeah.
I like it.
It's integral. That's what I like about him. Like, that character forever is so... Like, he created
Well, yeah.
the big thing in episode 4.
A big fuck you.
Yeah.
Coast is clear, Rex.
New design for the hallways.
I like it.
Yeah. Imagine you manufactured a bunch of those fucking things.
I know, but I was just thinking they're probably very expensive.
They are. I think like a droideca is the cost of like 100 B1 battle droids.
What you were telling me in another one of our reactions.
And those are more than droideca.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Is everything going as planned?
That depends on your point of view, General.
You wouldn't come here without a plan, and you wouldn't come alone. Tell me, do you think Skywalker has rescued Master Cloth yet?
It's not that many. I mean, okay, maybe it is. Ah, it's a lot.
At least they're not destroyer droids.
Your plans have come to ruination, Jedi.
I hear a lot of talking, General, but in the final accounting, what does all the talk get you? A mutilated body? In your place, it's Dooku's errand boy.
I'm no errand boy. I am not in this war for Dooku's politics. I am the leader of the most powerful droid army the galaxy has ever seen.
His mutilated body. Yeah.
What have you to gain?
The future. A future where there are no Jedi.
One more step and your friend will die.
You're a strong man.
Remember, that's like an Indiana Jones. The second one, technically the first one.
Your friend shall die, Kenobi, and you shall soon follow.
All his wrist would have to do is rotate, and then those two sabers would just come out from underneath.
Yeah.
Behind you!
Hits the button as he's falling.
Yeah. Oh.
I see you got my message. Where's Grievous?
One thing about Grievous is, you know, when it comes to fighting, almost always it's the Force that gets him.
Yeah.
Think about how he dies, too, you know? He dies by gun, but before that,
Yeah.
the Force push.
You rescued Master Cock.
Because Grievous is headed back to his ship.
You both go.
Cody, come in.
Yes, sir.
Grievous is headed your way.
Open fire on the Republic ship. Target their engines.
No one's hitting him.
Yeah, he's... Look at that.
Just walking. He's just running in a straight line.
Got him there. Of course, it was the non-lethal. Yeah.
Dome pile.
Oh. I like when you can see the moves like that. The lighting too in the back.
Well, the lighting in this episode is visually beautiful.
There's our one friend we grew up with, his head on there.
Till we meet again, Kenobi.
back, man. He's got the magnets. Yeah, use the force on that one.
Hurry! We can still catch him!
Obi-Wan, Anakin's leaving. We'll be trapped on the ship.
Anakin, come in.
See, Obi-Wan was ready to go.
Reactive and Priest! I can't lock it down!
There's a lot of unrecycled new visual sequences. Like them flying in and opening up. I like that the medical droid is up there doing stuff. They look
Putting in the work.
but they look so brittle, and obviously they obviously were.
They're clunky.
Yeah. Guys, that was his reaction, my rewatch, and this is our discussion. First episode of New York, what'd you think?
I think it was visually stunning.
The show really steps up even much more than this, but I feel like here is the first or the second episode where I think you can tell, like, wow, they're capable of course, this is like 10 years ago, but back then it's like they're capable of telling some great stories with the TV budget, with the George Lucas TV budget.
I'm watching it all out of whack, so
yeah, it's
not registering to me the way you're discussing it because you watched it fresh, from the beginning.
But comparing it,
and just looking at most of the episodes and the jumble that they are, I think that visually speaking, also it's one of the first major lightsaber battles.
Yeah.
In terms of intensity, we've seen Obi-Wan fighting Asajj.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but it wasn't that intense compared to this.
Yeah, it was great, and I
have some, I guess you might call them some details with the Grievous fight that don't really make sense to me when he's a cyborg and he's capable of so much.
Yeah.
That he doesn't do. But I know that obviously Obi-Wan can't die, and
Anakin can't see him.
Yeah, so there's limitations for the story, which unfortunately affect those scenes. But I understand this is a growing universe, and it's still growing, and it's not something that's just nebulous. It's not something that it was written from a linear point of view, and it's all planned out.
Yeah.
So. Grievous could easily, being what he is and being capable of what he is, when he's locked with 4 sabers on top of Obi-Wan, could have twisted 2 of them while he had his saber pinned.
That's the choreographer in you, and then same thing with me. Like I when I see those things, I notice the action is great and the intensity is good. But I look at I know from a choreography standpoint, when if I've had 2 lightsabers, I'm always conscious of well, could I kill here? I could. Then we got to rethink it, or we got to.
If you consider the fact that he's forcing down with all 4 sabers.
Yeah.
4 limbs, which divided are not as strong as the 2 limbs, but they're theoretically hydraulically powered.
Yeah.
Which are much stronger than Obi-Wan. He's using the Force, but regardless of that, he could have kept 2 sabers on him, the machine power,
this doesn't take
to hold him down,
and
he wouldn't have to swing his shoulders out. His elbows could twist, and the sabers would go. Vroom.
I think only
that motherfucker can spin those goddamn things. He did it in the movie. He spinned all 4 of them. No, he didn't. He spinned just the 2.
Yeah, and the same thing here.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous.
That being said,
why would you equip a cyborg body with only 2 wrists?
I don't know, but that being said, he could still do this.
Well, then he could just use the hands that did twist.
Yeah.
I guess he'd chop his own arms off, so maybe he's limited on which ones could twist.
Well, one thing I read is
the outside ones, because if it was the inside ones, he'd chop his own arms off, and then he'd be fucked.
One thing that was really interesting, I read in the book one time, and I know George, he's known to not care for a lot of the EU, but there's some things in the EU he loved. He loved Thrawn. He loved...
Thrawn should be loved. I liked what I read about him. I loved military history.
Yeah.
I liked the strategic aspects, the grand strategy that is Thrawn and his mindset.
But his team, Leland Shee and the Holocron Keeper, they were constantly looking at the canon. And they were always telling George, you can't do this. Well, God damn it. You know what I mean? I don't care about this story I don't care about some story that was written in a junior novel that I never read that telling me I can't do this.
Yeah.
That being said, he was once a general for Kalish. Mm-hmm. He's a Kalish general, and I read something he's got a Kalish brain. So when he was training to be a cyborg and trained a lightsaber fight, anytime he does something that is kind of not unhuman, but un-Kalish-like. Like, say, maybe...
I would say it's unconventional for him.
Yeah, like, it's hard for him to... Because he still remembers how to move like a normal thing. And to augment his brain further, he will lose more of himself. And the idea is he's still convinced that he is himself.
Yeah.
And other people, like Obi-Wan, saying, no, you've been tweaked, you know. And in the EU, there's other characters who said no. Like, of course, Matt Stover said, hey, he doesn't feel fear anymore. He doesn't feel happiness anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't feel anymore. He's got that much of the droid aspect to him.
But he, you know, and it said this in the episode where you see Grievous's lair. Like, you see, like, all the statues of himself from his big battles and his arena battles and stuff like that. And he always looks a little different in these things. And it seems like he's kind of convinced himself that everything has transpired, has done so in a way where he's chosen it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't know. I think the jury's out. I think it's probably a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, if the man does learn to fight a certain way and his body isn't been designed or engineered to fight in a certain way, then that motherfucker could have held Obi-Wan down and
I agree.
Spun those sons of bitches up there. And I mean, what's with these joints? I mean, with the limitations on these joints, he's supposed to be probably like top tier model. I understand why.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that mechanically speaking, he, in those certain situations, he would definitely dominate. And he definitely could have killed Obi-Wan there. But I'm going to let it go because I know Obi-Wan has to live. So I have no choice.
Well, I see that in Revenge of the Sith as well. Like I know why there's more power when you swing forearms this way. Mm-hmm. But, like, if you swung 3 and did 1 down here, I get
what
that.
The fuck are they going to do? Move. If they can.
But one thing I do like is I feel like, of course, this is the very first time they did it, designed it, thought it. Mm-hmm. I think that fight was better than the Revenge of the Sith fight.
It was.
Yeah, and
it's substantially better. Because the Revenge of the Sith fight was just... If you look at everything that they gave you from the EU of Grievous up until then, including Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
But George said early in the life of this show that stuff's still canon. Obviously, Grievous is different. Yeah, obviously.
He is. He's much less cool, much more cowardly, much more probably to the design of Lucas's original idea of the character as opposed to how Tartakovsky presented him.
Yeah.
But if he's supposed to be a scourge of the Jedi, you know, a venerable Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Or Genghis Khan, I guess they pronounce it. Then he's not presented in that way whatsoever in these films, which I know you've told me, he's up against the greatest Jedi whenever we see him.
Yeah.
But he's never like that. He's always the fucking dastardly, I'm tweaking my mustache villain. And
pretty much what we see here.
Tying the woman to the railroad tracks and, you know, running away.
Twisting his mustache.
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it. I will say, though, I mean, honestly, the fight was visually stunning. I really liked it. It was really cool to see him cutting a circle like the Jedi do. Mm-hmm. That was really cool because normally it's the Jedi doing it, so it's cool to see him using that intimidation tactic.
Yeah. Well, I like also how him and Obi-Wan have kind of a grudge, and when you see in Revenge of the Sith, like it comes to like full circle. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of, throughout this show, more and more he realizes he's not a match for like Mace and Obi-Wan and certain Jedi. He was always kind of jealous of the Jedi and the Force users and their ability. And like that's also always how he loses. And it's a contributing reason how he dies. And it's a contributing reason, I think, 2 times in this. The first time they fought with just a Force push. Mm-hmm. Just a Force push, bam, you can't do shit.
And again, one of my major complaints of Star Wars is a saber lunge. When Obi-Wan stabs the commando droid, not Obi-Wan, it was the other guy, the guy they go to rescue.
Eve Koth?
Yeah. When he stabs that commando droid in the head, I just feel like saber lunges are a ridiculous and completely useless thing.
You think so?
That's useless effort because it's a thing that can cut no matter where you have it.
Well, it's just a smaller surface area.
It doesn't matter. He's like, it's useless. It's like, why would you...
It's quicker, too.
That fucking thing can cut no matter what you touch with it.
Well, I mean, like, the idea is I can go here quicker than I can go here. Like, I actually watch...
It really just depends. Because that fucking thing is like a remote in your hand. It's like this.
Yeah.
So you can just... no matter where you have it, you're putting the effort into lunging.
Well,
the saber's here, saber's over here, saber's up here. You do this, you can just come down with the fucking thing. And it wouldn't matter because it would destroy everything in its path other than a few weapons that are designed to block it.
Yeah. No, but just like, generally...
No matter where that goddamn thing is. No matter where. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I get it with a sword. I do. Because the point of force, of impact, and the point on the blade...
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. But with a saber, this thing is a beam of light or energy that just cuts no matter where you fucking have it. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous use of effort. It's a ridiculous effort to point all that precision into... It's like egotistical to me that someone would lunge with a saber. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, the way they're described is they have a weight to them. Yeah, I mean, that's how... Like George described it, especially in Empire.
He would describe it that way.
He created them. They're his rules.
Whatever. I don't care. It's a goddamn beam of energy.
Well, I know.
It's like holding a flashlight, but the flashlight stops.
But it's not like a flashlight.
It basically is.
But it's not like it in canon. It's not like that. Like there's a weight, there's a heaviness to them.
Well, I'm sorry, but what does it do? Is it when it's cutting the air? And that's why the resistance.
I don't know, but like that's just in the commentary of episode 4. Like Alec Guinness was just saying, like, you know, we know there's a weight to these things, and that's why we can't wield it. Like he basically said, we can't wield it like a flashlight. I mean, it
sounds like George Lucas just coming up with fucking reasons to. It makes more sense to me for a Force user only, typically, to be able to use a lightsaber because there is no weight to them, like relatively.
The reason why I think he said that is because in episode 4, the way they wanted to do the fights, they couldn't do them as well because they had to connect a cord, and the thing was spinning around. So I think and then episode 5,
it's like a strobe light.
Yeah, in episode 5 they fixed that and they were faster. Yeah, but they still had to wait. In 6, like Luke was giving direction. You know what it's?
I think it really just explains the limitations of the fact that you're using something in choreography and in production that does have weight. So
yeah, I mean, in the books, I feel like it's described that way. I know that's not the same thing as on here, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like lunging to me is easier than swinging wide, where it's more likely to get blocked, and you're using like more muscles. And you know what I mean?
If you lunge and it's blocked, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it would not be a particularly useful move, especially with something that can cut no matter where you put it.
Well, yeah, but it's like a smaller. It's harder to block a lunge. That's the idea. Like it's harder to block a lunge than as anything else.
I don't know. I don't see a lot of lunges being successful, except for Maul, and that's because he fucking knocks him in the head with the saber.
You're right. So, I mean, like in movies, I don't see it being successful too much.
Well, I get it. Right? I get what you're saying with mechanics, body mechanics.
Yeah, so I think that's just the idea.
Lunge. It's awkward. It's awkward to block a lunge.
Yeah, so
to me, it's also awkward to perform a lunge.
You think so?
Yeah,
I feel like it just I don't know. Maybe just like I got experience fighting like people are bigger than me, like you and Eric, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, I feel like lunging, getting in to you guys are bigger. I'm quick. I can lunge in a way where it's awkward for you. I felt like, to me at least, it's much more successful than swinging wide. And
you never lunge very much, though.
I mean, I feel like I do. I just don't want to get my hand broke, you know?
Well, that's why you don't do it. Because people have adapted to...
Well, no, the thing is
I always go for the
there's
hand.
an unspoken agreement that you don't go for the nuts or the head or the hand.
But I always go
But then when you start to lose, you break a rule, like a small rule. If you lose more, you break a bigger rule. Yeah, I mean,
well, I go for the hand.
You know, like I don't get hit in the hand a lot, but I watched a master swordsman. He went through all 9 movies. Mm-hmm. Like he liked most of them. You know, he didn't like some of the stuff. Like episode 2, he couldn't judge it very well because they're just flipping around. You know what I mean? His big thing is like there just needs to be more lunging. If this was a real fight, there'd be more lunging.
Is he judging it based off of the saber's mechanics, though?
He's basing it off being a sword master.
Yeah,
so
which I respect.
Yeah,
I do. That's what I'm saying. Like, where do you kind of draw the line? I mean, it's a goddamn energy sword.
I don't know, because I mean, obviously, I think when George conceded, he thought of Space Samurai, and I think, you know, like I don't know what the rules are. I mean, there's supposed to be weight to them, but I don't think they're as heavy. They're not as heavy as a sword. Yeah, I mean, they don't turn on and then they become heavy. There's like the idea is like the way gravity wraps around them.
Well, I get that this is not supposed to be a world that is based on modern technology.
Yeah, there's like we're basing this off imagination.
So we're gonna say it's just the laws of whatever the fuck they're doing, then whatever. That makes no difference what I say. Everyone just loves it, or you don't like it, and that's fine. I don't like it. I don't.
You know
like
what's funny enough is when we were a little kid, you used to do this and come and lunge down to me all the time.
Well, yeah, because it seems like a powerful move, but I think they would be cooler to strike down now.
But you did it all the time, and the prime.
I was a fucking kid, and I was ignorant. Kids are ignorant.
In the prime of your lightsaber fighting career.
Yeah, in ignorance.
That version of you would beat this version of you.
In a lightsaber, in a stick fight. Stick fight.
Possibly. Think of how much we did it.
I know, we did it all the time.
I mean, just like all the time.
I know.
I remember I used to go to conventions and kids like 2-on-1 would try to get me. I got a video of it actually. I beat them all the time.
I don't feel like you wouldn't get as much force into the blow though, too. So
I mean, you technically have more force pushing than you do anything because you can push more this way than you can.
You can push if it's a matter of physical strength, but you're talking about a goddamn laser sword.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're generating force against.
But if you have to do this, if you have to do this to generate that force, you could just as easily like twist your damn body because it's something that can cut anything in this world.
Yeah, but we're bound by the rules.
I am not bound by this shit. I'm telling you that you're talking about.
We're talking about the logic of the
physical
show,
act,
right?
Of not just a lunge like you just have your hand here and you go whoo.
But if we're using your logic, then they could just sit there.
Yeah, they could.
We know that's not the physics of the lightsaber, though.
That would not be visually pleasing for someone that's trying to sell a movie, Shane.
No.
So I get it.
Yeah.
Just like the Obi-Wan and Vader fight in Episode 4. I like that movie a lot because I like, fucking Peter Culling, but it's just, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But my point is, like, if you're going to go through the effort of performing a lunge, and you have to put the precision of a lunge, especially like when you're stabbing a commando droid head on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like a small area. It's not like someone's chest.
You're right.
It's not like Qui-Gon Jinn's chest when Darth Maul spins around and lunges him, which makes a little more sense.
I completely agree that was needless. But I think if they're dueling, I see the real strategy of like stabbing.
Every so often, yeah, I get it.
They don't do that often.
But it's like the only time you ever hear anything about Anakin's physical strength, to my knowledge, is with the Matt Stover's book, with Revenge of the Sith, when he's fighting Dooku.
He doesn't lunge too much.
But I know, but Dooku talks about how he's a younger man, he's stronger. He's a physically strong individual.
Yeah.
So, if you're just talking about lunging just for the sake of the move, and not generating the force that you're talking about generating, like you're doing a bench press and you're just shoving in there, you're not going to... If you have to pull your arm back to do it with a lightsaber, it's stupid. All right, it's stupid. I'm sorry. It's just.
Well, I don't know.
A lot of people that are nerds about this shit will disagree with me, and I don't care. It's a thing that can cut no matter where the fuck it is. So.
Well, you're not wrong about then cut the where it is. Like, I don't disagree with you. I think we agree with 50%. I'm just saying during a duel, it's practical to lunge every once in a while, and it's hard.
It would make sense because there would be openings for it.
Yeah, and it's hard to parry, and like instead of blocking something like this, you're blocking something like this. That's why it's just hard. It's used to fake people out too. Because if I fake you out and I parry incorrectly, you'll just stab me.
It just depends how good they are.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, if they don't get faked out, then they're better. I'm just saying, like,
well, I don't know. It doesn't make sense for this thing. Like, no matter where you have it, you're gonna cut them. Well, I get that the choreography is for the beauty of it.
It's loosely based on.
I appreciate the beauty of the choreography and the fighting. And that's what I really like about Star Wars. Yeah. Honestly, ultimately, other than some major characters.
I think your boy Dooku lunges quite like, to my knowledge.
That motherfucker doesn't lunge at all in the movies. He's always spinning that goddamn thing.
6 hours later.
And so, regardless, the saber lunge is now crossed off the list.
Alright, I'm going to have to cut that down.
It never happened.
Like Grievous going into a fight, he doesn't take any chances. He's got all these droids with him.
Yeah.
It's a dirty shithead.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He's not a Force user, but it's just... I mean, maybe he only has them in the fights with the major Jedi. Like, he finally, like you said, figured out, I can't beat these guys. So he brings in these fuckers. But the other guy, the Zabrak...
Yeah.
I mean, how do you know that? He's just taking precautions now?
Well, he always has, like, his guard with him. And they only interfered when he had a disadvantage. and the clear disadvantage was always the Force.
Yeah.
So
just like leveling the playing field.
Yeah, take that as you will. It is cowardly, and this version of Grievous, which is.
Well, I guess I get it from that perspective, but it still sucks to see.
It sucks to see because
Django could fly. So he could level it just a little bit.
He had guns, and he's trained.
Yeah, but he had guns, but motherfucker has the Force.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus powers. You're bringing into the game.
There's a game on Steam called, I think, I Am Jesus Christ, and it's written, it's written by, it's created by, it is a legit game. And Jesus can go around and fucking exorcise demons. And I saw the trailer, and it's like, not making fun of Christianity.
Yeah, it's just.
But there's like badass elements to this game.
It's like him being a badass.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, it's just basically they're bringing God level abilities to the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. That Grievous would level the playing field, and Django and these guys can fly.
But to me, in a fight, I always like the honorable aspect of a fight.
Yeah, but except it's never fair for the other guy.
Well, yeah, in this, that's why I agree with you. I think it's cowardly because I'd prefer.
No, I'm saying that. I mean, it's cowardly for me to see from my perspective, but I've just had a thought, an epiphany, an apostrophe.
Yeah,
I think you mean an epiphany.
Yeah,
but I can see it. Like I understand. It's hard for me to watch because of the world we live in.
But the refrigerator thought is like, oh well, he doesn't have the Force, and he only had someone interfere. When they went outside the boundaries, So it's like a referee, and at the same time, I mean, he's got abilities that they wouldn't have without the Force, So it's kind of hit and miss. But I try to defer more to Django than I would him because they could still Django got killed by a Jedi, one of the more powerful Jedi, but he could still he held his own against Obi-Wan. He did. I was talking about this Ninja Turtle game I have. Like there's Star Wars games like that. And in these games, Jedi are more powerful, but they have weaknesses. You know what I mean? And there's other characters have attributes. Like if you're a bounty hunter, you're much better at shooting, and you're much better at distance, and much better. You know what I mean? So like if you're thinking of like that, then like Grievous. He's a good fighter. He killed anyone in the universe. He's killed a lot of Jedi. Yeah. But we see him go against the main characters.
I know. That's why I brought that up.
Yeah. And of course, Django, he's like the most badass bounty hunter in the universe. And he lost against one of the greatest Jedi. Yeah. But his son grows up to be a badass. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like you said, it's hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
Because I felt bad for Eve Koth. What do you think of him, by the way, the Zabrak?
I didn't like him.
What for?
He's okay, but I didn't like seeing that kind of Zabrak because I was born and bred on Darth Maul. And
well, I'll tell you what, then you're going to like some stuff coming up. What's interesting is in one of the junior novels, he was on a Republic cruiser that exploded. It never said he died, but he exploded. And there were a couple people, they were doing all this research, like, is he alive? You know, does anyone care? Does anyone know who Eve Koth is? Yeah. And then they just asked George, can Eve Koth be alive? He went, yeah, sure, he's alive. Like, okay, we're using him. And Dave Filoni, he specifically said, we always introduce a Jedi. And then he gets killed. We create a model. They're hard to make. They take a lot of man hours. Then he gets killed. So he specifically wanted him to live. So I didn't it kind of feel like, okay, this guy, we don't know him. He just came in. He's got a moment of being badass.
No, because I've seen him somewhere before.
Okay.
I don't know where, but I feel like I've seen his design somewhere before.
You might have.
But it's also been years since the show's come out.
Okay.
So I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I've seen that design somewhere before. So to me, being spoiled on the show's age and what little bit I've probably picked up over the years randomly that I didn't associate with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
I feel like story-wise, it felt like if you didn't know that, wouldn't it feel like he had his moment? We don't know who he is really. He's probably going to die. What do you think of Addie Gallia?
Is it Audie or Addie?
I don't know, but they just say Master Gallia.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's okay. I liked her. She kind of reminded me of like a Jamaican woman, like the woman from Pirates of the Caribbean, Calypso.
You know what's weird is I feel like her face, the model of her face, I feel like I've seen it in an actress. I just couldn't pinpoint.
Well, it's her eyes that get me.
Okay.
For
me, it's like the hair in the
very pretty eyes.
In the nose too. Like I felt like I've seen that before.
The noodle hair, not so much, but the eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure what species she is.
Well, she has noodle hair.
I do got
the SpaghettiOians.
I went to StarWars.com and printed out some concept art. I thought I could just make this post-discussion a little better. Zakk is an artist. He's the best artist I know. And these are just some concept art that was hand-drawn before they drew them on a computer and put it on the screen. So, number 1, which I'll put on the screen, is a Jedi Ambassador shuttle. And they did talk about,
I do like the Imperial shuttle designs better. I always like that cockpit design.
So one thing that he says is that we have Jedi light cruisers and we also have Republic Ambassador shuttles. So that's the Ambassador shuttle. And number 4, obviously, here's a Jedi light cruiser right here. And that one looks like the hand-drawn that was brought into concept on a computer screen.
Rendered on a computer. Yeah.
Okay. And we have number 6 here, Separatist Support Ship.
Sid Mead's work.
Yeah. Separatist Support Ship.
Sid Mead is a fantastic artist that worked on a lot of the production design for Blade Runner and a lot of other films, Prometheus and shit.
That's pretty cool.
So that's kind of reminds me of his designs.
Okay. But, another angle of the Separatist Support Ship where it shows like the hangar position, front docking tube position. This is number 8.
I just see a lot of the Japanese influence into animation.
And a lot of those guys are big fans.
Well, they should be. Yeah. Because the Japanese, after everything that transpired after World War II, they are people that have come so fucking far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And substantially. And it's great to see it. I mean, I don't think this is as good as shit that I've seen from there.
Yeah.
Because those people are just way above in terms of mechanical design. But I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and this is just Eve Koth and Adi Gallia. Like this is the hand-drawn version of them before they were... And just the concepts of them. And you see the lightsaber. Like, what does it say about a lightsaber right there?
Same lightsaber as Barris Alfie.
Yeah. So it's one of those things they'll shortcut it, and you don't really look at it. You know what I mean?
Well, it makes sense because it's not the important Jedi. It's not like, well, I want to have a lightsaber just like Anakin.
Yeah.
Or just like so-and-so.
Yeah.
So
in terms of anything else, I don't got too much else. This is the first of an arc. I liked it. I like the action. We both like the art. And we both agree the action. Lightsaber fight was pretty good.
It was.
And
very much so.
And just, in war, there are real things such as budget. And if they had just a bunch of commando droids and droidicas, they'd be kicking ass.
They would.
But they're few and far in between. But this commando droid is scary. Remember the first time we saw them was they were in that episode, I can't remember what it is, but they confront Anakin in the dark, and he's going down that narrow corridor. And they all jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't got anything else. That's it.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you like what you saw here, like and subscribe. I'm not going to say please, because you don't have to. If you don't like what we do here, don't subscribe. Please, don't come back, and it's okay. I didn't know you anyway, and neither did he.
All right.